Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Tonight we're going to talk about legendary monsters, the powers that they offer, the abilities that they bring to the table, and what sort of solutions can we bring that are going to be, generally speaking, less powerful, that's yet still give us a decent opportunity to win. Okay, so obviously legendary monsters are overpowered. They are by definition legendary. They are overpowered intentionally by design. And so there is going to be no clear way to always beat a Lord of Darkness or a Jotun. But there are going to be certain techniques that we can discuss tonight that are going to help each of us go into those battles more equipped, more prepared to solve the problem and turn loss into victory. So let's get into that. But before we do, if you're new to the channel, my name is Dwayne Cunningham and I go by Infidel 1258, sometimes just 1258. And we cover Splinterlands here all day, every day. We talk about gameplay analysis so that you guys can generalize the techniques and tips and tricks that I'm implementing to win at a higher level so that you can, generalize and win at your lower levels. And the whole point is so that we can maximize our returns for our time and our attention with this game that rewards you in a way that no other video game does. And so this game has transformed my life financially, and I believe it can for you also. That's a process. It's not an overnight thing. But stick with me, stay tuned, and over the course of the next days, weeks, months, we're going to learn a lot together, and we're going to grow, and we're going to win, and we're going to receive reward. Okay, so if that sounds interesting, like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So tonight, we are going to focus specifically on the fire element, the fire splinter, because it would be a very long video to try and go through every legendary monster for every splinter. Okay, so we're going to do fire. Clearly, when we talk about overpowered and we talk about fire and legendary, I think people, they're really thinking about Jotun. But we'll save the best for last, because clearly Jotun needs to be discussed in depth. But I would say let's spend some time on these other guys also. Zalran Efreet is a very powerful support monster with the 5 mana, the 2 magic, 2 speed, 3 hearts, and then all of these buffs, these serious buffs. Life leech is whatever, right? It helps him out a little. But not even that much, because at 2 magic, he's only going to get 1 more life per round, assuming he's hitting something like that doesn't have void. So, not a big deal. But then cleanse is actually a very big deal. As far as I'm concerned, cleanse is one of the most important support role abilities. In your 3rd, 4th, 5th position, to have a monster that offers this ability is to ensure that your tank has longer to live, because usually one of the ways that your tank goes down is that they either get afflicted so they can't be healed, they get stunned so that they can't heal themselves or attack, affliction, or poisoned. And with cleanse, you come in and you can erase those detriments and suddenly just be fresh, or have a new opportunity to win that battle. So I think cleanse is super powerful and super important to a team that if you on any team where you're going to bring healing to the table. And so helpful, but does it need a counter? No, not really. Headwinds and strengthen first. Strengthen is also kind of cool, but whatever. 1 extra hit point to your all of your team is great. But okay, not a big deal, I'd argue. Together, they're all the compilation of what he offers is very powerful. But the headwinds is the feature that really, to me, makes this a legendary monster, because headwinds is a ability that takes away 1 of your opponent's archery damage. This is an ability that is offered by a summoner in this game with the Death Splinter, Camilla something. Is it Camilla? The Death Splinter Summoner, rare. Contested Lament, -1 to archery damage. Anytime you can get a monster that offers the same ability as a summoner, that's an amazing monster that you should consider. So it's a great monster. I mean, it's not so great that I own one. I used to own one, but I sold it. So long story short, Zalran is a great supporting monster, but if this is giving you problems, I mean, I would argue that you're probably, I don't think this is a next level monster. The easy solution for something like this, it would just be an opportunity. This is probably going to be one of the smaller hit points on the opponent's team. So you throw an opportunity out there and you're going to be able to snipe this guy and take him out of the game. There you go, easy peasy. Powerful card though, no doubt about it. Paladin. This card obviously is very serious, and I think as we go into the new league versus the old league, modern versus, I think they call it wild format, this card is going to be more powerful, more important, I mean to say. It's a dice card, it's a legendary monster, it's fire. Fire has become increasingly known for its magic ability. Paladin is part of that. With its void ability, with its cripple, with immunity, and then with thorns, this card actually feels a lot like a tank. Now, I would call it an off tank, and I wouldn't prefer to put it in the front position. I would prefer to put it in the second position or the third position, but it could go in the first in certain situations, especially with that thorn damage. And if you had some heals, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't love that, but nevertheless, this card is very powerful from the second or third position. And then you throw in with it like an element of Phoenix, which at high levels has 4 magic damage and a good number of hit points with Blast and Magic Reflect. This could make, these two are like a really excellent 1-2 magic punch from this team, from the fire team. And there are other great ones too, and obviously not at the legendary level, because I wouldn't say Zalran goes in there, but I would say, you know, we're digressing here, but I knew this would happen, and that's why we're only covering fire today. But the Goblin Fire Mage, throw him in the conversation for magic fire team with 3 magic damage and blind and dispel. There are more. Yep. Souped up Naga dropping 4 with his thorns and the shield. And then even this guy with the Beetle Queen's heals in the tank heal and the 2 magic damage. So you see what I mean? Like this team can throw down magic damage. Oh, and this is one of my favorites now, Efreet Elder, with the 3 magic damage, but the phase in the last stand and the high hit points. So fire is no longer just about melee. Fire is definitely a very powerful magic team. I'd love to see a magic summoner for the fire team coming out in Chaos Legion. I could see that happening. And watch fire be the new magic team, right? Because we're seeing Alric retire. Well, he's not retiring, but Alric will be in the old league, and we'll have a new set of summoners coming out for Chaos Legion. Things are going to mix up. I find it highly unlikely that they would just throw a new +1 magic for the water team, but they very well could do a +1 magic to the fire team. Why do I think that? Look what they did with the summoners. We've talked about this before, but I don't know who saw it and who didn't. It's rare. Look what they did here. Earth, life. What do you see? Lyanna Natura, +1 hearts. She's a beta and an alpha. Over here, Mother Kala, +1 heart. She's an untamed, so she's going to be in the modern league. She's going to be in the classic league, or the wild league. +1 heart. They totally could do this, and I almost expect it now. I'm almost calling it that they're just going to go ahead and take Alric's +1 magic, and they're going to throw it on a fire summoner, and you're going to see fire will be the new magic the new magic boss. Okay, let's get back into it. So Calydum is a very powerful card, and if you imagine perhaps there being a +1 magic summoner, or even if you bought a Delwyn and you combine Delwyn with Calydum, this card is very powerful. This with the Elemental Phoenix. Wow, what a 1-2 punch. Okay, so what would you do? I mean, clearly you don't really want to be hitting it. I would also argue that you're really going to be, you're not going to be able to cancel the teals, you're not going to be able to poison or whatever to it. So I think probably archery is the way to play, and then you're going to be looking for high archery that you can spike damage it with piercing. And so I'm saying a counter would definitely be like a Mythica Headhunter. It's not a legendary card. Like we've been saying, we want to keep things, we want to give you some, I think it's an epic card, to be fair. Mythica, where are you? Mythica. Yeah, it's epic. But this card, it's not legendary, and this card alone counters tanks like that have a little bit of armor. This thing's going to go right through it with piercing at level 4, and at level 6 it's got the shatter, and then 6 archery damage. Man, is crazy. So there you go. I would argue that the play against the Calydum would definitely be to just go hard archery, and green is a good team for that. You got the Swamp Thing is a great card for 2 mana cost. You got Earth Elemental for 3 mana cost. You got Javelin Thrower and Mythica, all of which would just delete Calydum, despite whatever heals he might he might have on his team. Okay, so let's carry on. Aganju. This is not really a card I would say needs countering. It's just kind of a cool card to have with the 1 mana cost. Only 2 attack, 3 if you have like the right summoner. But yeah, I mean, this card doesn't need countering. It just needs, you need to have options. The thing about a card like this is this shows you that legendary cards are not always the most overpowered. They just are very good for the level of mana that cost. For 1 mana, this is in the running. This has got to be 1 mana. Is this the best reach for the is this the best card for 1 mana? It's all, the other options would be like the Ooze, which slows its opponent and has some attack and some hit points, and the Chicken, I guess, and then lastly Slime Ball. It's just different, isn't it? You could very conceivably turn this into like a 3 or a 4 attack with like that berry that does inspire, or the fire beetle, or both, and suddenly he's hitting for 4 and he costs you 1 to put in there. You know what I mean? Like, there are cards that cost 3 mana that look like this, like the toad, the horny toad. So is it the most overpowered? No, but for 1 mana cost, so easy to include, right? So much utility with the reach. He doesn't need to be in the first position. He can just come in there and do 2 or 3 damage if you get 1 inspire, or 4 damage if you get 2 inspires out there. Good card. Good card. I mean, this looks a bit crazy to me, but everything's a bit crazy right now with these prices. Okay, so Magnor. This is another heavy hitter that actually needs some talking about. Let me get some water. Oh, we're already going long, aren't we? 14 minutes. Oh my goodness. Let's keep going. How are we doing? 14 minutes? Almost 15. Okay. Magnar. Taunt, Enrage, Trample, Return Fire. Return Fire makes him really great at answering the low hit point archery monsters that can sometimes be so annoying, like fire pixie. Is that what it's called? I called it earlier. I referred to it earlier. Imp bowman. And you know what so often happens too, people will use Jotun and they drop whatever archery monsters they can. And if you play Magnor, you can bounce some of that archery damage back at them. Take out those little guys. I'm trying to find them. Where are they? Not commons. Are they? Imp Bowman, super low hit point archery. Easy kill with Magnor because of the reflection, right? Spark Pixies, yeah, another one. Even at high levels, it's got 3 hit points. So, you know, you can get into situations where the Magnor, if you've got some some armor on Magnor, you've got some heals on Magnor, he can delete, you know, characters like this just by reflecting their own damage back at them. Love it. Another fire elemental, that's another one. So yes, Magnor is very powerful, and we probably do need to talk about counters. With the hit points being what they are, where are this guy's weaknesses? Well, he has no void, so magic can just chop him to ribbons. And I'm thinking specifically of like a blue team with an Alric, with a Ruler of the Seas, and let's quickly look at some of the water legendaries. We're talking Phantom of the Abyss, Ruler of the Seas, drop a Valimor or an Alric in there, maybe a Poseidon, and you know, you can easily see these numbers getting up into, like, look, it does 4 at the highest level. And then 4 at the highest level. So Magnor gets gobbled up by magic, but these are legendaries. Let's talk about solutions that are not legendary based, okay? There are lots of great archery ones. You need to come at them with high hit points. Just not none of those 1 hit point archery guys. For instance, what about an Axe Master? What about, you know, Axe Master at even level 3 is going to be 6 archery damage per turn. It's so powerful. If you can get a level 6 of this guy, you need to do that. Because the cripple with the double strike and the close range, oof. In fact, I need to buy a couple of these. Yeah, we're going to buy a couple. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're all under $9. Yes, please. 11,000. How much? Okay. For a second, I was like thinking my DC had lost a lot of value. And no, it's about the same. It has lost some value actually, but it's about the same. It used to be about $700, now it's $673. It's okay. Okay, so back to the question. How do we deal with Magnor? Archery is good as long as you come at him with a decent amount of hit points. You know, something like a harpoonist with like 5-6 hit points. Knockout is so devastating if you get the stun off also. So I'm thinking things like stun. I'm thinking high archery damage with high, as long as those archers have high hit points. And I'm thinking magic, lots of magic. And did I say stun? Stun. Because if he's stunned, doesn't matter if he's hitting for 27 hit points. He's not gonna land anything. Okay, so let's go back over to fire. Legendary. So yeah, you just really need to hit him and pierce too, because you'd hate to come in here hard on him with, like, for instance, let's say you came at him hard with archery, but your archery didn't have piercing damage. And let's say whoever was playing the Magnor against you put 2 armor on him, right? Which is very easily done with like a neutral archery monster. You'd hate to see like Mitika 5 or 6 archery damage landing on the two shields that they put on Magnor. You gotta have Pierce, and you gotta finish him. You can't make him mad and then leave him. You know what I mean? So in every one of these instances, you need to know, especially when it's a guy like Magnor, or when it's a Jotun, or when it's a Kaladin or Elemental Phoenix, with these monsters that are particularly powerful, that can literally quarterback your enemy to victory. You need to understand that they will play him when you're about to fight. And how do you do that? You look at their previous battle history, and if you see that they always pick fire, and you see that they always pick Magnor, then be ready and prepared. And the preparation involves fast, heavy hitters with stun, and hopefully Pierce. And there's a ton of options. We already looked at green and blue. Blue was a legendary build, but go over to life. Life has, and not legendary. Oops, that's right. Let's just do common. They've got a good number of comments. So what could you do? Well, it depends on how big your enemy team is, if it's a 99 mana team or if it's a 13 mana team. But assuming you're only really concerned with the Magnor right off the bat, what about something like this? You start things off. Can't I see this? Oh yeah, because it's rare. You start things off with either Lorna Shine or Tyrus. Why? Because Lorna Shine is going to make, no matter how big the Magnor damage is, it's going to just be wholly shielded, right? So you can put like, you can pick Lorna Shine, and you can put like a Ooze, and you can put like all of your 1-level monster, your 1 mana cost monsters in front of some archery units that you're putting in the back end, and suddenly the big guy can't get to your back end, the damage dealers, the archery dealers, until it's too late. Or Tyrus, same general idea with the 1 armor eating up Magnor's whole hit. Okay, so these are easy counters. You get one or other of these guys, it's really, really going to help you. And then from the which monster's perspective, well, any of them, because they're all gonna. He has taunt, remember, so they're all gonna go straight hard at him. These are just Let's just look at common. Let's just look at common and rare. Herbalist is very powerful at higher levels with the two magic, the triage and the cleanse. Love that guy. And how about Silver Shield Archer? He's gonna do 2 damage for 2 mana cost. So you're only doing 4. That's 4 mana cost so far. Lone Boatman, I love this guy with the repair and the shatter and the snipe. But again, snipe's not going to matter because he's got taunt. So you're doing another 3. And so far, this is just 3 different monsters, and it's 9 mana cost. You know, Cave Slug's going to be too slow. Who else? How about Feral Spirit? How about Silver Shield Assassin? You know what I mean? Like Peacebringer. There's actually a ton of options with Magnor, but the question is going to be speed, piercing. You got to finish him before he gets a swing, or you got to come hard with like Holy Shield and or armor, so that he can't just, you know, trample through your whole team. Okay, so that's Magnor. Okay. Lord of Fire. This is a card that I used to have a copy of. I sold it for a lot. Like I mean, not a lot, because I don't get the power of this thing, and I kind of stand by my opinion. I don't really know why this is so expensive. Strengthen, yeah, sure. Silence is very important. Strengthen is great. Affliction is amazing. Shatter is great, but I don't know. I mean, Maybe it's just my deck. Like when I play against red, I don't go for a lot of armor. I don't go for, I might have one armor, like I said, I put Tyrus out there, but shatter is not a big deal when you've got one armor in every monster. Shatter is more like if you're coming out with like a 9 or 10 um, armor points. So shatter I just don't really get, contextually versus red. Affliction's great, silence is great, especially when you're fighting against blue and Alric. I don't really get this card, and I don't know that I have to explain a counter because I don't think this is just a supporting character. Again, pick a sniper or pick an opportunity monster and just go get him. Elemental Phoenix. This card is a quarterback, a power play. This guy's a boss. 4 damage. This guy can win matches by himself, literally. In a 10 mana match, you just put this guy out there with the 4 magic and the speed. He's going to fire first. He's going to dodge a lot of times. He's got 5 speed and he's got flying, so he's going to have something like a 75% chance to dodge depending on your enemy's speed, and if your enemy is flying also or not. Plus the blast damage is so great, and the magic reflect. Oh, and he has dodge also, so it's like a 25 and I think a 50% chance plus this. It's like 100% chance to dodge unless you have a lot of speed or flying or dodge. So it's a very powerful card. So how do you answer this thing? Well, magic. Yeah, he can magic reflect you, but so what? The magic coming back at you is less damaging than the magic you're putting on him. He doesn't have void, so I would argue that you just need to hit hard and hit fast. Like you come in, if you're fighting, if you know your buddy's got throwing an elemental phoenix at you and you don't have it, how about just go over to neutrals. Come into here. There is the Elven Mystic. Is a rare card, and at level 8 he's got affliction, he's got silence. At level 4, there you go, at level 7 he's gonna have 2 of his own magic damage, and he's gonna have silence, so you're gonna diminish your enemy's magic attack on you, plus you're gonna be able to do 2 of your own or afflict. So that's a great start, but you wouldn't want to put him in the front. How about like an Onyx Sentinel in the front to just absorb, or prismatic energy in the front to reflect his own magic back at him. Plus he's got the void. So this is a very powerful combo. Magic reflect with void. You're reflecting the magic back at them, but you are, taking as much damage as they are because of your void. Plus the high hit points. This is a great card. Super expensive nowadays, so I wouldn't blame you if you don't have it, but we're looking at common, rare, and epic solutions to legendaries. This is one of them. This is one of them in the case that we're talking about. Tortesian Chief is another great solution, and it's going to give you the heals on your tank. So, picture Prismatic Energy and Tortesian Chief, 1-2 punch. This guy, helping this guy stay alive, and the Void and the Magic Reflect helping you out, right? Of course, you could try Magic. Or, sorry, I mean... you could try melee or archery, but then you got to contend with the dodge and the flight. So, you might be looking at dragon solutions in that case. Maybe you're looking at like Fire Spitter, Manticore, Fiendish Harpy. Again, these are all very expensive cards, but because of their flight, they're going to be more prone to landing. Lightning Dragon's an amazing card. These are all legendaries though, so that's not fair. What else? What other solutions? Anything with True Strike, right? Such as what's that one? Gorlodon, my favorite. Death Splinter, Gorlodon, True Strike, right? Right there. True Strike at level 3, and he's gonna be doing 4. So in 2 turns, you're gonna kill him, right there. If it was Elemental Phoenix versus Gorlodon, Gorlodon wins. Especially if you have Enrage. right? So there you go. That was like 5 or 6 solutions. And yes, it's an amazingly powerful card, but amazingly powerful cards lose all the time. Okay, we're almost done. We've gone 30 minutes. Okay. Play-Doh and then Jotun. Play-Doh, powerful summoner. I mean, there's not much you can do to quote unquote counter all these buffs. This is huge. But, you know, if you need to, the advice I would give you if you're concerned about fighting against a Play-Doh or a Jotun is the first thing is you have to identify the potential that they're going to throw that at you. Is the match that you're about to enter, is it heavy mana focused, like 99 mana or 45 mana or something like this? Then yeah, you know, there's a real good chance they're going to throw an expensive summoner at you. But if it's like a 13 or a 12 mana, then you have to be less concerned about like a Play-Doh or a Jotun. And even if they do throw these summoners at you, you understand that they're going to have so few monsters on the field that you can take them out anyways. So look at their 5 previous battles every time, especially though when their power, the threshold of their power looks like it's high enough that they probably have a ton of legendary monsters. You can tell if they have 1 million power or 2 million power or 5 million power, they probably have a ton of legendaries. If they have a ton of legendaries, that means they have options like Play-Doh and Jotun. Then you need to know that and look and observe in the last 5 games, have they played red? If so, did they play Jotun? Did they play Play-Doh? And then that's not going to exactly allow you to counter it, but it's going to allow you to, you know, prepare. Maybe what you end up doing with something like with a Play-Doh is trying like a Pyre of your own, increase speed, right? Pyre or Byzantine Kitty, because you want to go first. You want to delete his amped up monsters. They're going to give you coming hot and heavy with the extra speed. And with the extra hit point or with the extra melee damage, and they're going to reduce your hit points. So you really want to strike first and hard. That's so key with both Play-Doh and Jotun. And that's why I would argue Kitty is a counter to Jotun. Why I'd say Kitty is the best summoner in the game, because really it helps you beat anybody unless unless the rule set excludes heals. Okay, so first thing with these legendary summoners is know that your enemy has them, understand in what context they will and will not play them. And if you are aware of that and you're expecting a Play-Doh, recognize that the strength of Play-Doh is really that he's going to kill you before you have a chance. Like, he's lowered your hit points, he's going to go before you, and he's going to hit hard. That's the strength of Play-Doh. So you need to undercut that by going faster than he is. Throwing things like ooze out there, and you know, if you're depending on what Splinter you're using, there are different monsters you can use to give yourself more speed, quickness, and reduce his speed, slow. And if you drop 2 or 3 of those in your deck, plus a couple opportunity or sniper monsters, you're going to come in and you're going to delete a lot of the guys. You're going to delete 1 or 2 of his monsters before they even swing. And that's going to be a path to victory for both Play-Doh and Jotun. But let's get a little bit more into Jotun, because everybody talks about Jotun. Not so many people talk about Play-Doh. Okay, so obviously it's powerful with the archery damage, with the blast, and if you don't know what people do with Jotun, usually is you'll do 1 tank in the first position, maybe the second tank in the second position if you feel you need to, and if you've got the mana for it. But otherwise, you'll do archery in 3, 4, 5, and 6 spots. And you're doing that because you want to maximize your archery damage, your buff from Jotun. You also want to take advantage of the blast. So you're going to do things like snipers. You're going to be looking at, let's go over here. You're going to be dropping people like Fire Beetle, wherever you are. Not Fire Beetle, Fire Beetle. Fire Beetle has snipe and 3 damage, turns into 4 with Jotun. You can do Imp Bowman is so affordable. With 2 turns into 3 attack, and for only 2 mana cost. Oh yeah, this is a really powerful one. The General at 4 archery turns into 5 plus Shatter plus Inspire plus Snipe, right? So again, Snipe is going to hit the first archery on your team, the first caster on your team, and it's going to hit the 2 adjacent. So this is what you need to understand that they're going to throw at you. They're going to use Jotun, and they're going to try and get all the snipers that are possible to have. And so you can do a couple things. One, be faster. Play Byzantine Kitty, play Pyre, throw out all of your speed buffs and speed nerfs that you can play. If you're doing fire versus fire, Flame Monkey at higher levels gives you quickness, swiftness. That's one great card that's going to turn the tides. Goblin Shaman has slow. You're going to throw him out there also. Then you're going to go over to neutral, and you're going to bring out the Ooze. The Creeping Ooze to slow your enemy even one more time. So now you've changed, and then if your summoner is Pyre, you got +1 for Pyre, +1 for Flame Monkey, and then -2 to your enemy is 2 more speed, because 1 for the Ooze and 1 for the Goblin Shaman. That's 4 speed differences in your favor. And then suddenly it doesn't matter if he's got every sniper under the sun, and they do. If they've got Jotun, they've got Centaur maxed out, they've got Fire Beetle maxed out, they've got all of the snipers, and they're looking to just delete you. But in order to win, he has to have a turn, and you're going to kill him before he even has a turn. So you come in there and you throw a hard opportunity at him, because your opportunity, you're going to find those weak little underbellies of these 3rd and 4th liners and just delete them. Even at 5 hit points or 6 hit points, there are certain monsters that you can throw at this that will stun it or that will delete it. There's very few that'll delete it, but Sandworm is one of them. You know, this guy's going to go at the back end, he's going to delete, or Silver Shield Assassin, or you could throw out like a Tower Griffin yourself, and then you're gonna get the protect, so you'll buy yourself an extra hit. You can also use what's the ability that reduces your opponent's archery damage. We just talked about it a minute ago. Headwinds. So with these summoners, the key, yes, they are very powerful and they are extremely difficult to beat, but the key to winning is understanding that your opponent is going to play it, and then which monsters do they have the mana cap to play them with. If it's 99 mana, you're in trouble probably, because if you don't have legendaries and the mana cap is 99, ooh, that's tough. But if they have all the legendaries in the world and the mana cap is 13 or even 20, you start to have these real opportunities to just slay the dragon, and you can win even though you are underpowered. And that's when you need to have that strategic mind where you're recognizing the power they have and then understanding how you could best counter it. And really, it's hit first and hit hard with these guys. You gotta delete them before they get their chances. And so multiple attacks is great, like double attack. Opportunity and sniper great, because you're gonna go to the weak underbelly, or sneak attack because you're gonna get at that back line. And True Strike is so good, but again, I'm kind of cheating by saying Byzantine Kitty. But Byzantine Kitty is an answer to these guys, because the Kitty just, 2 speed on every one of your guys, and you're never gonna miss True Strike rate. So, but that is fire, and that is how I would counter the greatest cards on the fire team. That is how I would respond to, how I would analyze my opponent's team, and then I would respond to maximize my opportunity to turn loss into victory. And there's more to it, because it's, the complexity is not just legendaries. There are some deadly epic cards that really you would need to know how to interpret and respond to also. But one thing at a time. We can deal with these another time. Fire Demon's one of them. I would argue Goblin Fire Mage is going to be one of them. If you in Phyrexia General is another with that Inspire and the Snipe and the 4. Oof. So anyways, I hope that was helpful. I hope it was informative. If you have any thoughts on or pushback on some of the strategies I've shared here today, I'd love to see it in the comments below. If you think I was on the mark even, I'd love to see that too. You know, guys, help me share this video by blowing up the comment section, because that's how YouTube knows that this thing is worth showing other people. Okay, guys, that's it for tonight. I am exhausted. Have a good night. God bless you.